Today, as promised, we're going to talk about the main topic of this retreat, namely Chakka Sutta, the discourse on the wheel, as given in the numerical discourses of the Buddha, known as Anguttara Nikaya. Supanipada Chakka Sutta, the discourse on the wheel. And the Buddha says like this: monks, there are these 4 wheels, possessed of which both devas and mankind there rolls a 4-wheeled prosperity, possessed of which both devas and mankind in no long time attain greatness and increase in prosperity. And what are these 4 wheels? They are, in Pali, Patirupa Disavasa, dwelling in a fitting place. In other words, dwelling in a suitable place where one can gain merit and knowledge. And the second wheel is Saburi Supanisaya, association with the worthy ones, so that one can cultivate in a good way. And the third one is Atta Samapaniti, conducting one's mind and body in the right way, so that both the mind and body becomes purified. In other words, the method of shaping one's mind and body in the right way. And the fourth one is Upekata Punyata, having done good deeds in the past. These are the 4 wheels. And if the wheels rotate, then both man and devas or brahmas are bound to realize greatness and increase in prosperity. That is what the Buddha said in this discourse. In those days, that is about 2.5 millennia ago, when the Buddha taught like this, as we have just mentioned, people easily understood, because they spoke Magadha language or Pali language as their mother tongue. As for others, they might not understand it so easily. They might just know roughly. But if the headlines are given in this way, such as Patirupa Disavasa, dwelling in a suitable place where one can perform good deeds, one can earn good wealth or knowledge, such as suitable place. Or if the heading is given as Saburi Supanisaya, association with the wise, so that the wise will be able to give guidance, such as the good method of practice. So this much would be enough for those who spoke this Magadha language or Pali. They could understand it very easily. So, if one practices in order to cultivate physical behaviors verbal behaviors, and mental attitudes, then one is said to be conducting oneself in the right way. So, one should be able to improve one's life, or shape or mold one's life so that one's life will become pleasant. Otherwise, if we leave our life as it is, then just like when we leave the plants without any care, they might be surrounded by weeds. The weeds would grow around them and the plants might die. So we need to improve anything instead of leaving it as it is. So too with our life, we should be able to cultivate one's life in a suitable way. First of all, cultivate one's physical and verbal behaviors so that they become pure and blameless. And cultivate the mind, mold the mind, so that it will not be degraded, instead it will be cultivated. And such methods can be obtained from the wise, so that with the practice of purifying these behaviors, you will become, first of all, with the practice of morality, you will be like a full human being. You will be able to behave like a human being. And if you are able to cultivate concentration, you will be able to possess human mentality. And if you are able to cultivate yourself, cultivate knowledge, then you become above average. And such things can be obtained from the wise. And you do this as much as possible. And we talk about wholesome deeds, meritorious deeds. They are none other than the practice of purifying one's physical, verbal, mental behaviors. And we should live in this way. Once we get the method, we should improve ourselves, cultivate ourselves, just like when we get some disease, when we are infected with a disease, we go to a physician and explain to the physician, who will investigate and test you and give you prescribe medicines and treat you accordingly. Then you take the medicines as prescribed regularly, abstaining from certain things which should be abstained and observing things which should be observed. Then your disease will be cured, or you will be cured of the disease. Then the treatment becomes successful. You gain the benefits of the treatment. So too with the practice to cultivate one's life. We have all along with us, all along our lifetimes, we have had this greed, hatred, delusion, sometimes going to the extreme condition of greed, excessive greed, to the extent of doing all for one's own interest, and then without any loving kindness towards others. Instead, we may be hating others and not being able to tolerate or to practice patience, and not being able to bear, to tolerate and instead committing acts of cruelty without any compassionate feeling. And also, one should understand what is beneficial, what is pure. If you do pure deeds, good deeds, you're bound to gain good consequences, and you must perform them. And if the deeds are unwholesome, you should abstain from doing them, because they bring about unwholesome consequences. So these should be known and practiced. And also as regards delusion. If you are deluded, then you may be committing deeds such as greed and hatred, indulging in greed and hatred, leaving your mind uncontrolled. So, such an example given is if you have a plot of land. Now, if you don't use it to good advantage, weeds might grow on the land, and the land will be wasted. So too with our life. If we don't cultivate our life in a good way, then our life will not be properly shaped or properly molded. So we need to cultivate our life so that our life will become blameless, pure, graceful, and lovable. And moreover, we should have done good deeds in the past, that is, the good deeds of parami, perfections, especially deeds of generosity, dana, and the practice of moral virtue, which are easy to perform. Doing for the sake of others, one should have had good volition, wishing for the welfare of others. Such are the perfections of good deeds. Especially, one should have done deeds accompanied with knowledge, which are causes for the present good. In this way, doing such things, having done good deeds in the past, and so on, constitute the four wheels. And whoever possesses these four wheels, and whoever these four wheels rotate systematically, whether they be celestial beings, Brahmas, or human beings, they are bound to become prosperous, because these four wheels are the causes for greatness and prosperity. At this point, there are 21 kinds given as the connotation of chekka. But here 5 things are given, and they are contained in these four wheels. Now, chekka means process or proceeding continuously without interruption, like a machine. In the text are given these 5 kinds, namely taru chekka, that is the wheel made of wood or wooden wheel. In those days, a lot of machines, so-called machines, were made of wood in most cases. And the second one is Ratana Chekka, which belong to the world ruler, the ruler of the world. Ratana, jewel, meaning jewel. The third one is Dhamma Chekka, that is the teachings which was given more than 2,500 years ago in India, soon after the enlightenment of the Buddha, at Benares, at the Deer Park near Benares, what is now known as Benares, given to the group of 5. That is turning of the wheel. The 4th one is Iriyabhata Chakra. That is the wheel of postures. There are mainly 4 postures: standing, walking, sitting, lying. And there are also other tiny or minute postures, such as bending, stretching, and so on. And they go on repeatedly, continuously. And such is known as the wheel of 4 postures. Of course, in our lifetime, we have had many manners, movements, and they are moving along like the rotation of a machine. The 5th one is known as Sampati Chakra. So the wheel, meaning the wheel of success or accomplishment. And it is this chakra which we are going to talk about, given in the Buddha's dispensation or exposition. Namely, the wheel of success or accomplishment. Sampati has many definitions or connotations. First of all, it has the connotation of the chance or opportunity for prosperity and success or accomplishment. If you strive or try hard, then you are bound to succeed. If you try in a small way, you are bound to succeed in a small way. If you try much, you are bound to succeed much. That is success in the form of peace and happiness. And these are the favorable conditions. If you practice the favorable conditions, opportunities leading to success. And also it has the connotation of overcoming, succeeding, obtaining, realizing, gaining, as much as you try. Whatever you try, for instance, if you try to gain knowledge, you will get it. If you try hard to earn wealth, to gain wealth, you will gain it. So there are these opportunities. So long as you follow these opportunities and try hard, you are bound to gain whatever you want. And you will gain the skill and talent. You will become fulfilled with them. Such are the meanings. Hence, all in all, Sampati has the connotation of greatness, success, or fulfillment. Out of these 4 wheels, we are going to explain, first of all, the 3rd wheel, namely Atta Samapaniti, conducting oneself in the right way, from the practical aspects, from the practical point of view. And by just discussing this, we are going to understand all other 3 wheels, such as association with the virtuous, or depending on the virtuous. And the present good has a cause in the past good, or past goodness. Namely, we have performed perfections, such as good deeds, by conducting ourselves in the right way in the past. And all these things will be automatically understood. So, when we explain the third one, the third way, namely Atta Samapatti, conducting oneself in the right way, we can turn the four ways at the same time. This word, Atta Samapatti, the Pali word, is a compound of three words, namely Atta, Samma, and Paniti. As for Atta, it means mind or consciousness, or to elaborate on this, it is the mental process. And the text is given as Citta Santana, that is the process of consciousness, such as the sense impressions, seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, bending, stretching, turning, all these things. Citta Santana, mental process. And if one does not control it or control anything, then this one which is not controlled will go anywhere it likes. It will go here and there, just as anything which needs to be controlled is not controlled. Hence, this means, that is Atta Samapatti means, the Samma means right way, or systematically, or well, and that Thapana, Paniti, conducting, establishing it, keeping it firm, giving a good foundation, and to be firmly established. So it means Atta Samapatti, all in all, means, if you put together, it means conducting one's mind or one's life or oneself in the right way. As for the mind delights in unwholesomeness, as is given by this expression, Papasame, Vamati Mano. The mind delights in unwholesomeness. So if the mind is not controlled properly, in a suitable way, or put it to good use, to become beneficial, in order to be blameless, then this mind will go hither, helter-skelter, it will go here and there, it will be flying about. So it needs to conduct or cultivate one's mind correctly, so that it is well shaped, well cultivated. Therefore, Atta Samapatti means conducting one's mind so that one's mind becomes blameless, or conducting one's mind to purify it. Atta is given as the mental process or stream of consciousness, and one needs to conduct it or establish it rightly or well, or utilize it, apply it systematically so that it is well established. In a sense, Atta has the connotation of all body, Atta. All body means everything. That is, it includes body, speech and mind, or just conducting one's body and mind rightly or in the right way. If one has not a cultivated mind or cultured mind, then one's body cannot be good, nor one's speech. If the mind is cultivated, if the mind is good, then the body also will be good. Means the physical behaviors will be good, and so will be the verbal behaviors. Hence, it is given by the commentaries that mind is the main thing. Atta is given as mind because the mind is taken as the main thing. When we say Atta Samapaniti, and Atta of Atta Samapaniti is to be taken as the entire body. That means when we say entire body, it also includes the mind. So when we say conducting one's body in the right way, means one is conducting one's mind in the right way. Hence, in the text is given that the whole body has to be taken as Atta, or Atta has to be taken as the entire body. If the mind is not cultivated in the right way, with the proper method, then one's physical and verbal behaviors will not be properly cultivated or shaped. Hence, one has got to cultivate these three things, or three behaviors, namely physical, verbal, and mental behavior. So if unless the mind is cultivated in the right way, both physical and verbal behaviors cannot be cultivated, cannot be wholesome. Unless you control or cultivate either with the intellectual reasoning or better with the practice of Satipatthana. If your mind is left uncontrolled, it will not be tamed properly. So if the mind is not tamed or cultivated, then one will be overcome by greed about desirable objects, desirable things, and indulging in greed, one may commit wrongdoing by body and speech. At times, encountering undesirable things, you may be overcome by anger, hatred. Again, indulging in hatred, you may be committing wrongdoing by body and speech. So also the mind, so also the delusion. If you are deluded, indulging in delusion, you'll be committing wrongdoing. The root cause lies in the lack of cultivating the mind. If the mind is not cultivated in the right way, then you are bound to commit unwholesome deeds leading to violent actions. This subject will be continued tomorrow.